can you hold down your control key or the talk button?
Okay, I'm on. Sorry about that. Just an observation. With respect to the use of speech and hearing, I find it very useful to actually have a tool that reads out the text that I'm marking. So my in a multitasking environment, so my head's free and mind's free to actually do some other critical thinking while I'm just in text as I go.
Okay, well, fantastic. The voice that you will hear will be the voice that comes with Windows. So depending on how recently you purchased your Windows, you will get a better quality voice or not. But yeah, great to hear that facility would be useful for you. Okay, everyone can use eMarking Assistant just by going to eMarkingAssistant.com, downloading the trial and opening it, and then following the instructions. Let's have a little bit of a discussion about what would be useful in these sort of tools. Could we get you to put up your hand if you've got a suggestion about something that you'd find particularly useful in that type of tool? Please work with me, guys. It's a lot. Yes, Lynn.
Okay, I'm going to try audio just one last time. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Lynn.
Oh, fantastic. Would it have particular referencing styles already loaded into it? We use Harvard, for example. So would the Harvard referencing style, those kind of comments already be there and available to use?
Okay, good point. If you look at the eMarking Assistant document, it's got a table at the end which has all of the comments built into it. Those comments are just normal, just pieces of text in a Word document, and you can delete them and insert your own comments. I'll just talk a bit about that now. Okay, so when you create, actually I've got a better. This is perhaps a better document. When you're actually marking the assignment, what happens is, actually no, that's not a terribly good document. What happens when you're actually marking your assignment? The comments are stored as Word auto text or Word quick parts. So here you've got an assignment. If we create a comment, or if we save a comment, it's stored into Word as a auto text or a quick part, and then we use the toolbar to insert it back into the assignment. That's great, but unfortunately most of us have to mark assignments at home or when we go on holidays, so we can export those comments out so we can insert them, use them on a different computer. So one of the things that very often academics, well, in my experience, people that are using this, the marker, the examiner in a particular unit, will create a comment bank and they will give it to their markers, and the marker will then that comment bank, and it gives all of the markers a sense of what type of comments they should be giving to their students. So that's something that course examiners have found very useful, that it gives It also, as Jeff says, it also encourages a dialogue between the assessors. What sort of things should we be assessing? How should we be giving feedback to people? It starts to make things that happen in private start to happen in public. Yes, Brian, you've got a comment.
More of a question, actually. I'm thinking of high volume subjects. I'm wondering if in this package you've got a mechanism to store the assignments with the comments and then on the same date be able to send each of the assignments back to each individual student by email.
Right. In many universities, people will be using a learning management system as a way of moving the assignments backwards and forwards between the student and the marker. And sometimes sometimes those drop boxes have the ability to return the assignment on a particular date. And I'd suggest that people probably want to use that rather than individual email to the student for a whole heap of reasons. One being that if the assignment is returned in a learning management system or a Dropbox, there's an archived copy of that kept for audit purposes. And that's a requirement in Australian universities and I'm sure in many other universities. But if you would have noticed, or you may have noticed, on the eMarking assistant interface, there is a button there that allows you to return the assignment via email. Many people in America are finding that useful, but I personally wouldn't recommend it because, how do you know that that email address really is that student's address? Does that answer your question or comment?
Yeah, that answers it perfectly. Thank you very much.
Okay, one of the other things that is worthwhile thinking about when we're talking about the advantages of storing or having the comments done electronically is the ability to harvest comments from a folder of marked assignments. I was talking to a person involved in the appeals process, and she says that she unfortunately has to deal with students who come to her and show her an assignment, and all of the comments are vaguely positive or are positive comments, but when it gets to the mark, it's a fail or a marginal pass. And unfortunately, she's put in the situation of having to defend the indefensible. With something like eMarking Assistant or other systems, you could have all of the assignments. You could have a process that goes through all of those assignments, harvests out the comments, harvests out the mark, and then just puts that together in some sort of quality assurance process. So you could very easily look to see that all of your markers are giving a certain quality of comments and a certain quantity of comments, and that the comments are related to the mark that is going out. It also could be used for some sort of way of proactively identifying issues that maybe need to be readdressed in the course design. If we notice that 50% of students are getting a similar sort of comment about a particular process misunderstanding, maybe you've got to go back and redesign that section of the course.